Back to these arpeggios, I just want to go over some ways, more ways to transition in and out of these different positions. Rather than just learning a shape up and down, we want to be learning them horizontally along the guitar. So we don't have to think of them as just this. You know, we want to be coming out into the next shape. That's what we want to be doing. That was just basically the arpeggio with maybe one note added in, but that's how we want to start thinking about it, playing it like that in a more of a lead guitar, musical blues type of way. And the only way to do it is to, first of all, you've got to know the shape, and the next one, before you can start moving them two together. So let's do some ideas. Remember, this is like the CAGED system. There's 5 different shapes for these dominant 7 arpeggios. So when we all first learn the CAGED system, we learn it in the key of C. We do C, A, and then G that way. But we're working in A, and it's A dominant 7, so we're going to be adding in that flat 7. And in the key of A, we have to start on this A chord. A shape, sorry, they're all going to be A chords, but we have to start with this A shape. So if you look at the word CAGED, the next letter after A is G, then it's E, then it's D, then it goes back to C, and so on. So you don't have to start on C. You can start on any chord, then it just follows up the next letter. The next letter tells you what shape you're going to be playing out of. So here's the A, and the next one shape after that is the G. You know, we have trouble playing that full G. So to demonstrate, if you put a capo on the first fret, covering up your A chord, then at the back here you'd have a G. But remember, we've got that flat 7. So the G arpeggio, let's do it properly. There's your G shape, A, G. The E shape, so let's look at a couple of ways to get from that shape into the E shape. So a good way to start doing that is look at the order of the arpeggio. When you're starting on a root, it's root, 3rd, 5th, flat 7, and then it goes back to the root. It always does that order when you're playing arpeggios. Now you want to start sliding into that major 3rd. Root, there's that major 3rd, 5th, flat 7. So here's a good point. On this flat 7 of the G shape, it also shares the same flat 7 as the E shape. So there's a good opportunity to transition between shapes. Just slide it up a whole step with your 3rd finger. Then boom, you're straight in that E-shaped position. So you've transitioned between the G and the E. There's a really cool little spot that you can do that and start practicing it. So I'll show you that lick as well. That's changing the fingering a little bit from the arpeggio, but again, it's good. If you've learned the shape, you've got to start experimenting with it and seeing how you can sort of, you know, bounce out in and out of position. So let's look at that lick. So starting in, remember, these first 2 notes of this G shape, same notes as the E shape. We're just playing it with different fingers. And remember, the flat 7 in both of them chords, the same note. Same note. notes. Root, third, fifth, flat 7. Root, third, fifth, flat 7. So this cool little lick you can start doing. So let's start playing down this G arpeggio. You got root, and sliding into the major third, then grabbing the fifth, and the flat 7. Then instead of going to this root, we're going to go into this root in the E shape. So there, you've transitioned. And then when you're there, you can do that same lick. Right to D shape. So modified it a little bit there. You got the G, we'll talk about the A, the root, G shape, major third, fifth, and then we're going to grab the 6, which is before the flat 7, and that's in the BB box. And we're going to bend it to the flat 7, then back, and then release to the 5th. Then we're going to grab the 4, which is directly under the A here, it's the D note. Then with our first finger, we're going to slide into that major third, and then grab the root on the D string on the 7th fret, and that puts you straight in this E shape. And then if you listen to that and work out the notes, you can do the same thing into the next arpeggio. Oops. There I did exactly the same lick, but because I ended up on the high E, I just had to find the notes just on the high E. So let's do that again. G shape into the E. E shape into the D. Then I went C shape into the A shape and back up into the G shape. Travelled the whole span of the guitar just with arpeggios, adding in one extra note. I was bending up to the flat 7 from the 6. And we're adding in the 4. So we're adding in a couple of notes from the Mixolydian, which is what we need to do anyway. You can't just play arpeggios forever over your blues. We've got to start wrapping these scales around them. So what I was doing there, I came straight up the neck from the G shape, and I went through every single shape back in to this G shape. I actually think I went into the E shape eventually, yeah. Let's do it again. You just got to change fingers here and there, but getting used to coming that way with these arpeggios is going to teach you a hell of a lot. It's going to get you out of that repetitive, just up and down, like how we always use scales in the beginning. You want to break out of that and start coming left and right. And once you've got that sort of stuff down, we can add in the 4 chord, the 5 chord, and boom, you're playing lead guitar. Now, one other little cool area as well, you've got this D. A lot of people get stuck on this D arpeggio. Remember, you got this D shape here, like your normal D, but up here it's for A of the 9th fret, just a regular D shape. But because we're doing 7, remember that root, we're walking that down to the flat 7, so you get this like backwards D. But when we're playing the arpeggio, we get both, so you get this kind of diamond shape. There's your flat, there's your major 3rd. There's your major 3rd for A again, into this shape. Root, flat 7, 5, major 3rd, root. So from this root, you could do major pentatonic up into that major 3rd. So you got root, slide into the major 3rd, 5th, flat 7. Then root again, major 3rd, straight into my D, but we're going to get to that sort of stuff. So the full D shape again. When you see them licks, you know, out the back of this E shape here, there's that same lick. Just on these lower strings. So hope that helps you a little bit. I'm going to continue doing videos on these arpeggios. If you've got any questions or anything, just fire them in the comments. I'm happy to go over any areas you want. If you just request it, I will do a video. Just if you just want to work on the D shape or this top portion, we can just work on that. If you want to work on just some of the licks separately, we can do that. If you want a private lesson via Zoom, give me a shout on email and we can arrange that. Cheers.